Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Holistic Health Guide podcast. I'm Kathryn Berg, a certified classical homeopath. This season, we are talking about natural ways to age gracefully. And in today's episode, we will discuss the liver and aging. We'll be talking about signs that your liver might not be functioning properly and how it could be affecting how you age. You'll get a chance to learn how to take a little liver quiz and see if your liver is in tip-top shape or not. If you hang around long enough, you will get a liver cleansing green smoothie recipe. Yum. Let's get started.
Have you ever wondered how your favorite holistic health practices really work? Are you curious to learn more? Welcome to Holistic Health Guide. I'm Kathryn Berg, a classical homeopath with over 20 years of experience. Join us as we explore homeopathy, stem cell activation patches, the Enneagram, and much more. Let's dive in and uncover the secrets and tips behind your favorite holistic health modalities.
The liver is an important organ, but most people don't know much about it. Why don't they, you may be asking? Because Western medicine has nothing that can help the liver. So you see no articles, no advertisements for drugs, no questions asked by your doctor. Luckily, there are other ways beyond Western medicine that can help the liver. And they've been helping the liver that way with natural methods for centuries. But we'll talk about that later. Before we launch into those, let's first see what symptoms you may have that indicate that your liver isn't functioning as it should. Here's a list on the screen, and if you're listening to this, you won't see that list. But there are just a few common ones, especially those related to aging. And there are many more. So we'll just read this list and talk about it when we go through it. Here are some signs and symptoms of liver issues: constipation, flatulence, potentially with funky odors of all sorts, pale colored stool, jaundice, and I mean really, no kidding, pressure at the bottom of your right rib cage, pain on the inner side of either of your scapula, that's your shoulder blades in the back, eczema, lipomas, which are fatty tumors under the skin, easy facial flushing or a red face, slow to develop and resolve migraine headaches, worse from alcohol, worse from eating fat, varicose veins, anger, liver is the seat of anger in the body, controlling, lack of willpower, brain fog and forgetfulness, and waking between 2:30 and 4 in the morning. Do any of these sound familiar to you? We'll get to discussing some of these, but first, let's talk about how your liver might be causing you to age in ways that you don't want to. I often talk about aging gracefully. I even have a Facebook group called Women Aging Gracefully Naturally. I saw a meme that said, "I don't want to age gracefully. I want to age in a rage." Well, let me tell you, that is exactly the type of meme that someone with liver problems would create and would like. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes as we age, we get more outspoken and uninhibited, and it feels good. We stop taking crap from other people. But again, this is likely a liver problem, causing or avoiding conflict. You can flip from one way to another, especially if you're fed up. I don't know how hormones affect that, but wisdom and confidence do seem to come on after menopause. But a poorly functioning liver can bring about that outspokenness as well. There is a symptom of causing or avoiding conflict that is a common liver symptom. So, before we get to the signs from your liver that you are aging, let me tell you about my experience with recognizing the relationship between symptoms of aging and the liver. A while back, I created an organ therapeutics course for my homeopathy colleagues locally. As I was putting the course together, over and over again, I saw symptoms such as forgetfulness of what he was about to say, forgetfulness of what he had just done, memory poor for recent events. They go on and on. There are a lot of memory and forgetfulness related symptoms in the homeopathic repertory, and there are liver remedies in almost all of them. I pondered this for a bit, and I realized that most people don't do anything about their liver. And by the time you are aging, it is really taxed. This is especially true if you have consumed alcohol regularly over the years. Do you know when else this is true about your liver? If you have been on prescription drugs for any length of time, meaning for a chronic condition, you likely have a liver that is not functioning to its fullest. Most drugs metabolize from the body through the liver. Some go through the kidneys and some go through both, but the bulk of them go through the liver. Some pharmaceuticals are so harsh on the liver that those who are prescribed them are required to do liver function tests periodically. The other thing that can cause liver symptoms as you age is having a career where you are exposed to toxic chemicals. A few years back, I was chatting with a local business owner at a Chamber of Commerce event, and she told me about her husband being on some medication where he had to have regular liver function tests. One time, when he went for his regular testing, his liver function was way off. And it turns out he had spent the weekend cleaning a boat that had something sticky in it. He used a glue remover which had acetone in it, and it changed his liver functions. Remember, fingernail polish has acetone in it. So if you are somebody who has been polishing your nails throughout your life, and maybe you don't even drink alcohol, but you always did your nails, and you always removed that nail polish with an acetone nail polish remover, you could have a liver function problem. More recently, I had a new client who had something come up in his routine liver function test that he had gotten from the doctor because it had been a minute since he saw the doctor, years actually. And during those years, he was not a drinker. He was not taking any pharmaceuticals, but he did work around chemicals in his job. Suffice to say, your liver can be affected by all sorts of things without realizing it. Some people do know the importance of liver cleanses or keeping their diet clean. And I've done liver cleanses a time or two, but I do get it if people hate doing them. But honestly, most people don't even think to do them. It would never even occur to most people that they needed to cleanse their liver. The liver is supposed to be cleansing you. So what we've talked about so far is one of the functions of the liver called detoxification. But it isn't the only function of the liver. There are many other functions as well. There are other symptoms of a poorly functioning liver that can lead to signs of aging. Another function of the liver is metabolism. It helps metabolize carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. The liver converts excess glucose into glycogen for storage and for later use, and it later breaks it down fats to produce energy. The metabolic function is closely related to the detoxification function as well, as it is related to pharmaceuticals. If your liver isn't functioning well, you may notice low energy. Another thing that can happen if your liver is being taxed is that it can't metabolize the drugs as well as it should. If you can't metabolize your pharmaceuticals, the body could decide to create eczema instead as a way to clear and metabolize the drugs out of the body. In 2019, in my PTSD and homeopathy preliminary study that I conducted, I had a client with PTSD who had terrible, terrible eczema. She had also been on many prescription drugs for the PTSD symptoms. Before the PTSD remedy, received a liver remedy from me to remove the eczema, and it did. The third function of the liver is bile production. Bile is essential to absorbing fats and fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. And remember that list of symptoms above? One of those symptoms is worse from eating fat. I remember a client had problems with a particular food that his wife made for him, and he happened to really, really like that meal. In fact, he had requested that she figure out how to make it because he had had it in restaurants. It contained coconut cream, and he simply couldn't absorb all the fat from the coconut cream. But after working on his liver with a well-chosen remedy, he was able to eat his favorite dish again. Difficulty with eating fat can also cause weight gain. Eating fat, as long as it isn't too much, doesn't make you fat, but lack of nutrition can make you fat as a protective mechanism for your body. If you have trouble with consuming fat, you won't absorb the vitamins A, D, E, and K. You might also end up with a stomachache after eating fat foods. I want to point out that helping you digest your fat is not the same thing as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and we'll talk about that another time. The fourth function of the liver is storage. It stores essential nutrients like glycogen for energy, vitamins A, D, and B12, and minerals, iron and copper, releasing them when needed. It isn't just the conversion of glucose into glycogen, but it helps store it along with the vitamins and minerals. You can imagine the loss of energy if your liver can't perform this function of storage. As we age, we tend to lose energy, and it can be from any number of things. Let's not have it be from a poorly functioning liver. The fifth function we will discuss is protein synthesis. The liver produces important proteins such as albumin, which helps maintain blood pressure and volume. And it also helps with clotting factors that are essential for blood clotting. So maybe the reason that elderly people often have high blood pressure is that this function is not being taken care of by the liver as well as it could be. The sixth function could be tied to type 2 diabetes. Well, really, either type, but because we're talking about aging and it tends to appear as we age, we will just stick with type 2 for now. This function is the regulation of blood sugar levels. By converting stored glycogen back into glucose when blood sugar levels drop, the liver helps maintain steady glucose levels in the blood. Next is a super important function of the liver, cholesterol regulation. It produces and breaks down cholesterol, helping to regulate levels in the body. It also converts excess cholesterol into bile acids for elimination. So many older folks are on cholesterol drugs. Could a poorly functioning liver be contributing to the plaque buildup in the arteries? The reason that your body produces cholesterol is that if you are eating too many simple carbs that spike the blood sugar, the body will lay down cholesterol in those arteries as a way to protect them from the blood sugar spikes. Your liver acts to regulate this if it can. As we age, our immune system doesn't always function as well as it should. It wouldn't be a stress to suggest that it is related to this next liver function, which is the immune function. The liver contains Kupffer cells, a type of white blood cell that helps remove bacteria, worn out red blood cells, and other pathogens from the blood, contributing to immune defense. I would be personally interested in doing a study in a nursing home or a senior living center that measures the number of acute illnesses experienced by residents and then measures how that changes after some get a well-chosen liver remedy and others get placebo. Finally, the ninth of many, many responsibilities of the liver. As I said, we're not going through all of them. We're going to go through 9 of them. And this one is hormone regulation. It helps break down and regulate the hormones, including insulin, so we talked about that diabetes thing, estrogen, and cortisol. As I said, we talked about diabetes just a couple minutes ago, but estrogen issues are huge amongst women all through their lives, but also as they reach perimenopause. So it could be that the issues related to perimenopause are really related to your liver and its inability to manage the estrogen in your body. We could also have a whole episode on cortisol, and maybe we will sometime, but not right now. Classical homeopathy helps with the stress response, which causes cortisol to build up in your body. But it is the job of the liver to break down and regulate the cortisol. Feeling stressed? Do you experience a fight or flight response? Getting your liver in check could help. So, how do you know if you have a well-functioning liver? Well, I happen to have a little quiz for you to take, and you can find it at www.liverquiz.com. You'll get your results back and eventually a personalized email from me to let you know my assessment because I'll look them all over. Again, that website is www.liverquiz.com, and that link will be in the show notes. And now, as I promised from the beginning, the liver detoxification smoothie recipe I promised. So let's just go through the ingredients and why they're included. 1 cup of spinach or kale, which is dark leafy greens because they're rich in chlorophyll, which helps detoxify the liver and promotes bile production. 1/2 of a cucumber, which is hydrating and soothing. Cucumbers also help flush out toxins. And remember, if you are detoxing, you need to stay hydrated as well. 1 small green apple. Apples contain pectin, which aids in removing toxins from the digestive tract. A red apple will work as well, but it has more sugar, so you might want to stick with the green ones. 1/2 of a lemon. Lemons support the liver detoxification function by stimulating bile production and are rich in vitamin C. 1 tablespoon peeled fresh ginger. Ginger boosts circulation, which can help cleanse the liver and has anti-inflammatory properties. 1 tablespoon flaxseed, which is rich in fiber, and flax seeds also help bind and eliminate toxins. 1/4 cup parsley or cilantro, and these herbs are really great and well known for removing heavy metals and toxins from the liver. 1 cup of coconut water. It also is hydrating and full of electrolytes, but it also helps flush out toxins. Optionally, you can put in 1/2 of a frozen banana for sweetness and creaminess, or add ice cubes if you don't like or cannot eat the 1/2 of a frozen banana. So once you've got all those ingredients together, add them to a blender. Blend on high until smooth. Taste and adjust the sweetness with banana or stevia if needed, and serve chilled and enjoy. This smoothie is nutrient dense and refreshing, giving your liver a gentle, natural boost. For best results, it can be enjoyed a few times a week, especially after periods of indulgence. You can find this recipe on my website at www.lotushomeopathy.com/recipes. And that link will be in the show notes. So you don't have to worry about writing that down. You can just look it up and click there. And again, if you would like to know whether your liver is problematic for you or not, you can take my quiz at www.liverquiz.com. Thank you for listening to this episode of Holistic Health Guide podcast. Our next episode will be a continuation of this one with more explanation on what actions you can take to help you and your liver. If you find that this podcast presents valuable information to you, please remember that there are no advertisements or fees. And if you'd like to support the making of this podcast, please check the show notes for links to some low ticket items you can purchase. Also, if you find this information useful, please rate and review our podcast and share it with a friend and sign up to follow us. I'll see you next time. This is Kathryn Berg. Until then, be healthy and happy.